So you guys continue walking forward?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah, we're
glad
gonna
you can
keep
keep
going.
up high spirits in such a terrible place as this, Jovan.
Were I not to, I fear I would go mad.
Perhaps we should call you Jovan the Jovial.
Yes. Then why do you think he's called Jovan? The worshippers of Netro are the 7 dwarves of the clerical world.
So
What?
you guys walk on for a while down the stone bridge, and then off in the distance, the mist clears up more. So it's further away from you now.
Okay.
And you can see,
good.
and you can see that actually the sky is filled with red clouds, and across the mirror-like black surface, which is probably water, you think you can see small, tiny rowboats with wide white sails out on the water. But there doesn't seem to be any forms or people in the rowboats.
That does not look good.
Are they moving or perfectly still?
They seem to be
In the
perfectly
pen?
still.
Okay, that makes sense because there's no
Current or wind.
or like
Because
yeah.
it's been
Yeah.
shooting around in
Movements
my
on water.
bag.
And then every couple of steps you take, you notice that there are like shadowy forms on the rowboats, and they have these nets, and they throw the nets over into the
Oh,
water,
like ghosts.
like ghosts or
Okay.
whatever.
Because the nets just disappear on the surface.
Right.
They don't like.
And
ripple.
then they're like trying to fish things out of the water.
Ooh.
Ooh, they're ghost fishermen.
Why does this seem oddly familiar?
So the whispers start to get louder and louder, and you hear like, "Turn back, turn back, turn back," and then as you look to either
I think this is familiar to like some part of Acronox.
as you look to either side of it, you think you start to see yourselves in the mirror's surface, like as you did before. But then you start to see like other faces appear behind you in the reflection, and it's the faces of people who you've seen going about your daily year, who you've seen from your past, all that kind of stuff. And it's as if they're all staring at you and judging you as you continue to walk down this stone pathway.
Well, I'm actually not getting close enough to the water to look down into it, so I wouldn't actually see that.
It's the pathway is like 5 feet across, so even if you were just glance, you could notice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you continue to walk, and then eventually the faces start to like move a bit and follow you in the water, just looking at you the entire time. And then they have like bodies attached to them, and they start to swim in the water, in the black water. And then there's a furious like soft like crowd of meowing that suddenly happens. Just a meow, meow, meow.
Wait,
And then-
wait. It sounds like a
Is that
like
you?
a lot of cats.
Yeah, like a lot of cats. And then surfacing in the,
fuck?
and then surfacing in the water next to you, you can see that the people who were swimming along before, their heads like rotate 360 degrees, and when they come back around the other side, it's the face of a cat instead of a human. And it's like
Everyone I've ever known was a cat.
and it's like and
Oh,
hear,
God.
And you hear this loud scream echo through the mist, just like this ah! Accursed animals! It just echoes out across the water.
Ooh. The cats are stronger.
And
Oh, someone's a dog
and
lover.
then the water starts to boil around you and roil, and it just like goes like that, starts to create a whole bunch of waves. And then as you look on either side, you think you can see these huge dark shadowy shapes moving beneath the water's surface, but only for a moment, because at that minute the red mist peels back and away, and in front of you you can see this like wide open forest like glade. It just peels back and slowly like pulls back and reveals. So like the stone bridge goes right here, and then the mist peels away, and beyond it is just like a grassy field, like it's another portal.
Oh, so there's like a end to the
To the bridge, and it just peels back and stuff. And then you can see on either side of the portal edges where the smoke curls back, where the mist curls back, there's like these hooks of threads that run off through the mist and go into this forest-like portal, as if there was like a stitch there and somebody ripped it apart.
Oh, I see. So it's kind of like
Weird.
Yes, exactly like that.
Whoa.
When the
Or
water
actually
is
be more
sloshing,
like-
does any of it splash onto the pathway?
Yeah, it gets washed onto the stone walkway.
But it's normal, like nothing weird happens about it.
It doesn't corrode it. or
there we
anything.
go. So the second one where it's like
exactly
you
like
can
that.
kind of see the stitches up top.
Yep, it just like got ripped.
Oh.
Do their own reflected faces also turn 360 and
No.
become cat versions of themselves?
They don't.
Does my head turn 360 and I become a cat version of myself?
No.
Alright. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Not Merek either.
Jovan comes back and is like, Cat Jovan!
Yeah.
Meow.
Retro
Meow,
goes into
Netro.
Into the portal.
Retro!
Meowtro.
You must press on, Jovan.
Nyatro.
Yes! That's
All
where
right.
this is where the Nyan cat name actually comes from.
Well,
It's like
Nyaaa
the
is,
origin.
meow in
You
Japanese.
had to roll
Oh.
Yeah. That's why it's
That's
Nyaaa.
fine.
It would
Oh,
okay. Would you
okay.
prefer this to be a bunch of mini Mereks running around?
No, that would be ridiculous.
All the cats turn into Merek. All the Mereks turn into Percival. All
A
the
whole
Percivals.
league of me's into a realm of Mereks. Who am I? Am I the original Merek?
Anyway, so what do you guys?
Okay.
The portal stands pulling open in front of you.
I'm going to pick up the pace and
Yeah.
and just in
Not
case
know
it starts
how
to close.
long
Yeah.
this tear can last.
Did we hear any sort of tear, or did it just like the mist pulled back and
You
revealed the
heard
tear?
accursed animals. The mist went away.
Yeah,
and
you
we
heard the
see
scream,
tear.
and then you heard the tear rip apart.
Okay,
Oh,
so
we
we
did
heard
hear
the
a
tear,
tear.
so it was actually
Oh
tearing.
no, sorry, no, you didn't. You just saw it. My bad. You heard the scream, the yell,
Okay.
and then it opened, and then
I'm not sure if it's like an aesthetic effect or if the mist is actually fabric over there.
Right. No, you didn't
So-
hear fabric ripping.
Huh.
And then as you like hurry up along the bridge to run, you hear this no, they cannot reach it. And then coming out of the water behind you, you see this you see this shadowy form go sliding down the water, and then this massive worm jumps out of the water. Just you've seen one of these things before.
Oh yes.
It came out of the sea nearly
Okay.
here when that hole was
Alright.
created. And the thing's mouth opens wide and goes, "Ah," and it comes just about to crash down upon you. Give me a reflex save.
Oh no.
Wow.
Exciting.
We'll just do it
Oh,
for
no.
Jovan because he's carrying you.
Okay.
Do I
Minus
get a
one.
check penalty for my armor? Is
Yep.
that-
Unless you
Oh.
want to
What?
squirm
No,
and
no. You don't get
Nope.
a check
Or
penalty.
not
for
a
armor.
reflex saves, no.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
Oh, that's right. DCC doesn't have those things. Huh?
Yeah.
14.
Okay.
Oh
So
god.
you go running ahead, and
Oh,
just
God.
as the thing comes crashing down behind you, you dive through the tear. Just like, whoa! And it goes crashing down and dives into the water on the other side of the bridge. And you see the tear stitch up behind you. Just
Oh god.
so
that was close.
you land with a roll and like hit the ground like that, and looking around you, you can see that you're in a you seem to be in a clearing within a forest, but there's some kind of it looks to be a garden here. So there's a wide iron wicker fence that runs around this kind of octagonal enclosure, and then there's an iron wicker gate that leads into this garden.
And the thread?
Inside the thread, inside the tear you jumped into.
No, his threat.
Oh yeah, it leads through the garden. But give me a sec. So as you look around here, you can see that left and right that the ground isn't grass like you'd normally notice. It looks to be fabric of some sort, and it seems to be made up of a whole bunch of different patches, and they're all stitched together. And as you look closer,
Now is that only like if you look close, like from afar, it looks like normal ground? or
yeah,
something?
exactly. And as you look
Okay.
closer, you notice that the iron fence posts are actually knitting needles, and they're strung together. So like how knitting needles have that hole at the top, or sewing needles. So they're stuck in, and then the other knitting needles push through the hole to make the fence bars going all the way
alright.
around.
It would have worked. It would have worked, Jovan, you see.
What is
We made it.
what is this place?
I believe
It's
we're
all
in the
fabric?
wardrobe. Or where the wardrobe leads.
Oh, then where were we?
I don't know. Have I...
Does a wardrobe connect to that place?
I don't know. Did I merge the two
Were we
worlds?
between dimensions or something? All right. Oh, do we see the stitching of where that opening was?
Nope, it's completely
It's not.
closed off.
Oh, it's not visible.
Behind you just lies forest.
We
By the way, the
must-
trees look like they're made of fabric as well.
Oh wait, so it's like it was stitched out, or like now it's stitched together. It like was in
Disappears.
thin air.
Yeah.
So we can see.
Yeah.
Okay, huh?
We must press forward.
We have no other option.
Let's walk.
Okay. So
I'm
you
gonna keep very close eye on our surroundings.
So you move your way up to the garden gate, and as you begin to walk towards it following the thread, you can see in front of you that this octagonal enclosure has a variety of flowers all curled around the knitting needles and stuff like that make up the fences and such. And then within the octagonal enclosure are graves, concentric circles of graves. So in the first circle, the tiniest one at the center, you can see 3 graves that have etchings on them, but you can't read them till you get close.
Oh.
And those 3 those 3 are closed over with mounds. And then surrounding them are a whole bunch of other graves in circles going around the outer ring, and they get wider as they go out till they
No.
reach the end of the octagonal
Or
enclosure.
they are graves.
No.
Curled up near one of the gravestones is a small black cat.
Oh no.
Wait, so can we enter it? There's a gate?
Yeah,
There's
it's just an
opening?
open. It's just an archway.
But yeah, that's all.
Yeah, that you can
gated.
walk through.
Okay. Well, the thread leads into it, yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
I think it'd be best to try not to wake the cat.
Okay, sure. I'm gonna follow your judgment since this is your realm.
Okay, so you start to head forward into the garden, and you can't hear any chirping of birds around you, which is odd in this forested area. And as you continue to move forward, the black cat suddenly stirs in its slumber and rolls over on its back and stretches and goes.
Is it lying like on the ground near the grave or on top of the grave?
Right near it, right near the headstone, and it like rolls over in its slumber and turns around like this and stretches, then wakes up and its eyes are kind of blurry. Then it stretches its back and arches it and hops up on one of the gravestones and looks around at you coming forward. Do you want to try to hide or do anything or?
Well, Merek, maybe you should try speaking to it.
Hello? Who is there? I can smell you, but I can't see you yet.
Where does the thread lead?
It leads through the graveyard.
Okay.
Okay,
we
so
must step through the graveyard.
okay.
Well,
So this cat
let's
is not
say
Percival,
hello.
presumably.
Wait, so are they not in the graveyard proper? Like this is not.
They're like right outside the gate, the archway to it.
Oh, the gate enters the graveyard.
Yep.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
we
octagonal
haven't
enclosure.
entered the graveyard?
No,
Yeah,
because
the,
we're right outside.
the description made it sound like they were inside this
I thought
area.
this
of
I thought
which-
this
No, that's
graveyard
just what-
was like huge, and we were gonna
Yeah.
have to get to the
Like,
That's
the
just
center
what
circle.
you can see.
Like
You can
Arlington
just see
and-
the
Alright,
center
well-
circle. It's not that.
Oh, okay.
I step forward and say, "Hello, I'm Merek Ferrer, and this is Jovan."
So the cat stretches out and peers at you and goes, "Oh, Merek Farrar has returned." And it hops off the gravestone and goes prancing and goes like soft patting over to you and goes, "I see that the mark I gave you last time has healed." And you suddenly recognize this cat. It's the same one.
I figured it was the same cat.
Wait, okay, what? Give me some. I don't remember.
It's okay.
And it purrs a bit and it rubs up against Jovan's legs, like rubs around it.
Oh wait, so they've entered the graveyard
Hello.
now?
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
we walked right.
or
Oh,
comes
yeah.
towards you, yeah. And it like walks around and rocks around your legs and goes, "Merek, you've come at a rather odd time."
A lot of odd things have happened. Now maybe we just pass through. Please.
Of course, I merely watch over the dead. I have no business with the living. And then it sits down and peers up at you and goes, "But if you're going to save Percival," and it purrs suggestively, "then you're going to need my help." And it walks back towards the three graves.
Well,
and
I ask, what is your name? How can you help us?
and it turns around, and if cats could smile, it's probably what it's doing. And it swishes its tail and hops up on one of the gravestones. And Merek, you notice now that you can read the names on the three gravestones in the center ring. It's your father's name, your brother's name, and your sister's. And the cat sits on the grave and swishes its tail back and forth and goes, "What you see before you is merely the result of the future if you do not accept my assistance, Merek Farrar."
Which grave is he sitting on?
The topmost one of his, it's his father's.
Okay.
And it hops off the grave again and goes, "You've been trying to get along by yourself for such a long time now. And it's commendable, you've done a good job of it. But really, the fact of the matter is that you just can't continue on your own power alone. You need my help, Merek." And it comes striding forward. "I've been watching this dimension for so long, waiting for the time that one of the wizards, one of the threads, would find his way inside. And you've done it. And at last, I have a chance to finally be done with this boorish assignment."
Are you telling me I'm the first one of the threaded wizards to make it here?
Well, the first one who made it in without going insane. Your the ones who came before you didn't fare too well. But this time around, I guess you've got some sort of advantage. I admit, merging two planes together was a firm solution. It does destabilize the boundaries between planes enough to allow easier travel. But this quasi-plane you've created cannot hold for long. Eventually, the two planes will rip apart, like the tearing of a very fine fabric. And when that happens, anybody caught in the middle will go to ruin. And it walks up towards you and sits down by you and swishes its tail and goes, Merek, you need my help. You are desiccated, drained of energy. You're going to need your strength and your spells if you wish to save Percival. Now,
I believe the cat is right, Merek.
it's all very simple. You have to allow me, this deal I mean, because that's what we're doing right now. We're making a deal. You have to allow me to place a mark upon you. This mark will confer you to complete a quest for me, a bit of insurance to assure that you do what I ask. If you fail to, the mark will kill you instantly. But if you accept the mark, I will give you back your full strength, plus a little extra. Join into a contract with me, Merek Farrar.
It is only for a
You
quest?
Join into a contract with me, Merek Farrar. Just this once.
I have to go to the bathroom real quick.
Okay.
And I'll think on it. Gives me a moment.
Merek's gonna go
Ray runs
use a
over to
tree.
one of the gravestones, like...
Hold on. Make a contract with me, Merek.
Percival told me I should never trust you. I should be wary of black cats.
Of course he would say that. Percival has long overstayed his due. He is upsetting the natural order of things. And it, walks closer to you again and goes, Merek, I understand you want to save your familiar. And you can do this, and more. And more. Just so long as you allow me to help you. Your father's words echo in your mind. The last words he told you, choking and coughing on blood, gurgling as it comes out of his throat.
Merek, it doesn't look like we have a choice.
I will never sign on to a more powerful being ever again. If it is worth doing, it's worth doing on my own.
And the cat hisses and jumps up on the grave again. Then you go to your death. Take this as a messenger. Take this as a message from a messenger of death. And it hisses again and leaps off the gravestones and runs off into the forest.
My apologies, Jovan. I might have just signed our death wish. I hope you are okay with that.
If there's anything they
But-
didn't factor, it was Netro's power.
I hope you understand. You're a man of the faith that
I have full confidence in you and our victory.
morality over mortality, as some would say.
So you notice now that the threads that are strung together around the forest also string into the knitting needle fence that's making this enclosure, and then they string again and go off back into the forest where the red thread leads, going further. And as you have moved along, you notice that more and more of these threads have popped up, starting somewhere and then continuing along, strung up along trees,
like
branches.
the mist is revealing them.
There's
or
no
like
more. There's no more mist, but
they're
just
actively moving and threading.
they start as you walk along. You notice that there's more of them starting somewhere and continuing.
Okay, they're just kind of like materializing.
Threads?
No, it's
or
just
are they
like
being
so like
woven.
if I was back here and there was like a thread on the TV and a thread over there, and then I moved to where you are and there was like 3 more threads attached to like the door handle and that and something else. That's what's happening.
Okay.
So like these threads back here, they continue on, and these continue on in the same direction. They just start later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, let's get moving.
Yes, let's.
So you pass by the graves, and as you look around at the rest of the graves, you notice that out from the circle of your 3 family members who are dead, there are other rings of people of names and etchings that you can't read, and some of the names are in other languages entirely, as if they're from other countries or something along those lines. So you walk along and you walk through the archway, another archway leading out of this octagonal enclosure, and continue into the forest. As you follow the red thread through the forest, you start to notice that a whole bunch of different multicolored threads shooting through the forest, which started back from where you were before, are getting
What?
tangled up in the trees and stuff like that. They're like, the whole thing is like strung with threads all the way through. And they all seem to be leading towards the same place that the red thread is. I'll bet that they get there in different, and they get there in less efficient ways.
Jovan, it appears that there might be another thing at play. There's the red mist, the red threads, and the world of fabric, the wardrobe world. But it seems to be that there's this rainbow fog, this rainbow thread as well.
Wait, there was a
did I
rainbow
ever
thread?
see the rainbow fog during the familiar ritual with Dadriel?
Yeah, you did once.
That's where it came from. Yeah. I don't think we've seen it any other time.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it at all.
You also remember your dream where there was a whole bunch of threads going out your back.